Gaddafi still retains an air force capability. It has been used in the past, but a lot of pilots have defected. What the remaining capability is, we don't know, but it will still be brought into effect if he wants to throw that into the action as a last resort. But the question is now, where do we go from here? There's lots of rhetoric going on about the people will march from here and they will liberate Tripoli. Well, you can hear these shots of celebration here. People are very buoyant, in a very good mood. Shots have been going off all evening. But really, when it comes down to it, are they prepared to march against a very, very well-trained, well-armed force? We don't know. So there's a momentum growing, but they think, in the end of the day, that they will have to, liberate the country themselves. That they will not have to rely on the international community if these sanctions and if this outside pressure doesn't work.
Well, that was Tony Birdley in Benghazi. Within the last hour from the White House, we've heard that US ships are being moved to waters closer to Libya, and Hillary Clinton has been warning that the country may well descend into civil war. She says imposing a no-fly zone over Libya is still being considered. Russia and China, on the other hand, have said they've got concerns about this. Let's go to John Terrett, live for us in Washington. Yeah, a no-fly zone, very tricky one this, isn't it? And we had a warning from the CENTCOM commander, senior American general, saying, listen, it's not a cakewalk once we announce we're going to do it.
Well, you're absolutely right, David. And of course, they're moving those ships into the Mediterranean to patrol up and down off the North African coast. And certainly a no-fly zone could probably be best managed from an aircraft carrier like the USS Enterprise, which we are pretty certain is on the way to that posting from its present position in the Red Sea. But we are hearing from, I think it was the Italians a few hours ago, who warned, look, we're not going to take part in helping you with any no-fly zone unless there is a United Nations resolution that authorizes us to do so. So at the moment, it seems that the international community is not speaking with one voice on this issue. So we shall just have to see how this plays out. In the meantime, as you were saying, the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, who's had a very, very busy weekend, she was in Geneva on Monday ahead of what is likely to happen in about 60 minutes when Libya gets kicked off the Human Rights Council. That's something for the hours ahead. She was there on Monday laying the groundwork for that. Now she's back in D.C. and has been testifying up against the Senate Armed Services Committee on Capitol Hill. It was the House Armed Services Committee, in fact, that she was addressing. And she made the point that things in Libya could go either way. Either there could be democracy or there could be civil war chaos. Both options, she said, are available and open to the country at the moment. Here's more of what she had to say to the House Armed Services Committee.
When it comes to Libya, the United States has led the way in imposing very strict sanctions that are finding assets and preventing those assets from going to the Gaddafi family or the Gaddafi leadership. We have also, with our NATO allies and with the Pentagon, begun to look at potential planning, preparedness in the event that we feel it's necessary for both humanitarian and other reasons that there would have to be actions taken.
Hillary Clinton, and it was actually the House Foreign Affairs Committee. My apologies for that. Now, within the last half an hour, we've heard from Jay Carney, who is the new White House spokesperson. He's a very calm man, not known for getting ruffled by journalist questions, but today he came as close, I think, as he ever is likely to being a little bit ruffled. He was asked about whether the White House is moving quickly enough over the events in Libya, and he said, look, this is all unfolded really in the last 10 days. Everything is happening so quickly. I simply cannot agree with you that we have been holding back and going slow here at the White House. Things are happening so fast. And he made the point that behind the scenes, there is an awful lot of international diplomacy at the very highest level going on to try and bring this situation in Libya to a peaceful close, certainly to avoid any further bloodshed or violence. And Jay Carney said that that applies in particular to the United Nations, which is doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Here's more of what he had to say.
The United Nations has, with incredible speed, made clear that it will refer to the International Criminal Court the abuses of human rights that are being proven to have happened in Libya and continue to happen, and that that demonstrates the international community's commitment to hold accountable those who would perpetrate the kind of violations that we've been seeing.
Well, John, if that is Jay Carney looking ruffled, he obviously is an extremely calm man. I wonder what's going to happen in New York. You say a couple of hours till Libya looks likely to be kicked off the Human Rights Council. What's the process that has to be gone through?
Well, this is very interesting, David. Do you remember that the United Nations used to have the Human Rights Commission, and it was much derided for failures over the years? And then in 2006, they scrapped that and brought in the Human Rights Council, based in Geneva again. And then, to everyone's surprise, last year, Libya got elected almost unanimously to the Human Rights Council. Well, you know that the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, and other leading diplomats from around the world have been meeting this past weekend and on Monday in Geneva. And part of the bilateral sessions, the behind closed door sessions, has been leading up to expelling Libya from the Human Rights Council. Now, it hasn't happened yet, but we expect it to happen sometime in the 20 GMT hour, so about an hour from now, maybe another hour after that. We should start hearing that Libya, we think, has been ejected from the Human Rights Council. Now, what does that mean? Not really, doesn't amount to a hill of beans, to be honest with you, does it really? Because, as I say, Libya was elected unanimously and people were surprised about that. Lots of raised eyebrows last year. And now Libya expected to be kicked off the council. Doesn't really cut the mustard when it comes to sending a message to Colonel Gaddafi and his family. But it is another brick in the diplomacy wall to edging him closer to the door, David.
Yeah, John, thanks very much indeed. I know you'll be watching that for us. That's John Terrett in Washington, D.C. What's happening in Europe about this no-fly zone, or the possible no-fly zone? Here's Alan Fisher.
The faint aircraft noise, the smoke, the shouts. The Libyan Air Force apparently in action against its own people in the east of the country. This is what the UK, the US and others are trying to stop. While the politicians plan the military moves, US ships are being ordered into the area, planes are being put in place. UK Prime Minister David Cameron says nothing is being ruled out against Colonel Gaddafi.
It is not acceptable to have a situation where Colonel Gaddafi can be murdering his own people, using aeroplanes and helicopter gunships and the like, and we have to plan now to make sure if that happens we can do something to stop it.
The top option, a no-fly zone, fighter jets on patrol targeting Libyan aircraft ordered to attack protesters. Plan B, arming anti-government groups. Military assets, ships, planes, people are already on the move. The US has an aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise in the Red Sea. Near Naples is the HQ of the US 6th Fleet. 8 ships are there right now. The US also has an airbase at Aviano in Italy and a naval base at Rota in Spain. The British are further out, an airbase in Cyprus and a naval base in Gibraltar. And the French have a vast airbase at Istres.
There is very little that the international community can do at present. Very little. What it can simply do is seek to offer humanitarian support and get